welcome back to the channel. I am working on my condition inspection, which is an annual inspection for experimental amateur built. It wasn't too long ago. The FAA was out. Actually had 4 gentlemen from the FAA who came to see my sweet little airplane, and so they issued me my repairman certificate, which is great. And that's a new process now that you should probably be aware of if you're in the building process. It used to be a long time ago, the DAR would actually issue that kind of at the same time you would do your inspection. At least here in California, that's not the case anymore. They don't do it that way. And as a matter of fact, it's their preference to see a little time on the airplane actually before they come out and do the inspection. But the local FSDO is the one who actually issues that repairman certificate now. And I'm guessing that that's nationwide, but you might want to check with your DAR or just do like a Google search on your local area and see what it takes to get that repairman certificate. Anyway, I got mine, which was great. Everything went really well on that visit. They inspected the plane and were very complimentary of the construction. So anyway, there were a couple things that were mentioned that I'm going to look into. Some grommets that I'd never heard of before, and just some really nice pointers that they shared with me. So I started my condition inspection with the fuel tank area, and what I was going to do is if I didn't find any issues here at all, I was probably not going to open these up and actually remove them. But I did intend to, I need to drain them anyway because I'm starting with the fuel system in general. So what I'll have to do is I'll drain the fuel, and which is real easy for me. I have one of those valves that actually locks open, so you can lock it in place when draining the fuel, and it makes it really easy to drain. And that is the lowest point in my system. It goes slightly uphill to my carb, and it goes uphill to my tanks. But this side looked really good. I didn't see anything here of any concern on the top side. We'll see what we may find when we take them out. I kind of like to get them out anyway. It's going to give me a good look at the structure down the wing, a really good look at the attachment points at the spar forward and aft. And so, and since they're going to be empty, it won't be that big of a deal. But I did spot an issue on this side. Besides, there's a slight crack. And really it's just a crack that formed because it's not a crack in the rib itself. It's a crack just slightly between the rib and the piece of RS-15, I believe it was, right next to it. And I think it could be because the screw actually ended up going right in between those two pieces and probably forced that apart a little bit. But it only exists in that one location. It's not anywhere else. So everything else looks good there. I'm a little bit suspect about this one. I'm not sure if I don't think that is a crack of any kind because I can't seem to get it to move. But I did see that this tie across member here that kind of ties this to the next rib is hanging loose right here. So that is going to require me to re-epoxy that, and so we'll get, when this tank comes out, we'll have a much better look at all the structure in there. So and on the inside, since my gasolator is right there, and I'm hoping you can see that. Probably you can't. So let me get a flashlight. So you can see my gasolator is right down there, and so what I'll have to do is take the clamps off the fuel lines after I get everything drained out, and then I can remove that remove the gasolator easily. It's just a couple bolts going through the back of the gasolator into I made my bracket as a U bracket just for that reason. I can easily get to those 2 bolts that remove it, so it's no hassle. I don't have to get on the outside of the plane and have somebody hold a screw while I get in here and take those other nuts loose. So I thought of something correctly along the way, which is nice. So, and then since I have to pop the fuel lines off of the tanks anyway, what I will actually end up doing is I'll just go ahead and replace all the fuel lines from the tanks and all the way through. So, and that'll be not a problem. Easy enough to accomplish. I have, as soon as I take one off, I've got a template of how long it is. It'll be easy to cut and put it back in place. So, yeah. So that'll take care of the fuel system. I will probably go ahead and pop the bowl on the bottom of the carb, just to give that a look at, and just make sure there's no trash inside the bowl, and then that will actually kind of take care of my fuel system. And when I put this line back in, I'll actually be able to eliminate that piece right there that goes in between. I had to do that because I didn't have any hose, and fortunately I did it prior to my fuel flow test, which is an important point. If you do your full fuel flow test, and then at, say, some point down the line you decide to put a filter in line, or you need to put a splice somewhere, it's really important to go back and redo your fuel flow test if you've made any kind of a change to anything that may potentially restrict the fuel through the line. So anyway, I'm going to continue on, get the plane up on, get the tail up in the air, and then I'm going to work on getting this fuel drained, so I can get these tanks out and have a look. All right, so I got the right hand fuel tank out, and the cross members, the hold downs, the rubber is holding up great. No issues there. No problems there. So those are all good. There's no cracks or anything on this side. It's really nice because you get a really nice clear look at the carry through, where the carry throughs connect to the wing spars. The whole bay area here, there's like a little bit of sign of chafing, like right here. So I've got some adhesive backed rubber that I'm gonna put over this. I can't really find any other location where there's been any chafing. Maybe possibly right here. And if we compare that to the fuel tank, compare that to the fuel tank, that's kind of the back section here. I don't see any sign of wear there, but just because I'm suspicious of that, where those kind of black marks are on the gussets, that could be from aluminum rubbing up against there. I'll put a little rubber on that too, and I've got nothing on this side, just a tiny bit right here on this front corner, and then there's just a couple scratches on this gusset. So I'll probably, maybe I'll just end up hitting all three of these gussets, and a little bit here and a little bit back there. I did notice when I took this one out, and actually it comes out very easily once I disconnect the fuel line by going underneath, and where my T connects on the inside. It's just real easy to get it loose, and then the tank just slips right out. Everything else, this rubber I have on the bottom, is held up perfectly, and it hasn't moved or anything. It's exactly where I left it. and I was able to get a good sight. You won't be able to because I don't have a light for you, but really good sight all the way down the wing. And if there's any issues with a plane like this that's this simple, if a gusset lets go or something, you're going to see it on the outside anyway. And of course I'm checking for that every time I do a pre-flight. So this bay looks perfect. So there's nothing wrong in there. A little bit of chafing that we might take a look at. So, but I did notice when I took the tank out, I noticed there was a little bit of I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to. There was just a little bit of residue right there around the fitting, but it's not a leak because it had some color to it, and I was like, where's that coming from? And when I traced it back up here, it looks like there must be just a very tiny pinhole right here where this is leaking because there's some fuel dye on there. And so that is going to need to be investigated, and we'll see what's up with that right there. The good news, however, is that there's no signs that there's been any fuel inside the structure whatsoever. So it just kind of crept down the tank to the low point, and then just kind of accumulated right around the fitting. So yeah, so we'll figure that out, and if anything, we'll see what the remedy is for fixing that. So okay, and maybe it already fixed itself. I don't really know, but it's good news that down in there everything is completely dry and shows no signs of ever having any fuel leak anywhere. So that's good. Okay. And I've been in those inspection holes before just to check things out, and I never saw any liquid or anything. So that's all good. I'm going to put this tank back in, and then I'll get the hoses off the other tank and slip it out. All right. So I've got that member epoxy back in place. I cleaned that all up and working on that. Now I'm going to hop inside, and I'm going to get the gasolator out, and we'll open that up and see if there's any trash in there. There shouldn't be. I haven't seen a lot of anything really in the drain whenever I do my pre-flights. In the very beginning there, I did see some stuff kind of come through, but it wasn't a tremendous amount. But something we need to do anyway, get that thing open and see what it looks like on the inside, clean that screen, and get it back together, safety wire it, get it back installed. So we're all good there. And so this is going according to plan, and this looked really similar to the other side. There was like one little bit of chafing there. You can see there was a touch of chafing here on this gusset. So I have a couple places where I need to put some of that adhesive backed rubber just to protect those gussets. So yeah, but other than that, I'm super happy with that, and I'll get close to getting this fuel system all done, which is good. It was kind of the one I was looking the least amount forward to, but it's actually going a lot better than I expected. So yeah, and I did some reading on this tank situation, so I got the other tank out. It actually has something similar, and so what David at Team thinks is that that's the dye they use when they test the tanks with pressure, and that if the tank has like sweat at all, maybe it kind of reactivates that dye and it'll drain down to where I found it by the thing there. So I'm hoping that's the case. Like I said, I haven't seen any fuel, so that's good news. So I'm gonna hop in there, get the gasolator out, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, so I've got the gasolator open here. The good news is, like, there is like almost nothing in here at all. I can see like just a touch of debris right down on the very bottom, which there may have been a little more debris earlier because I drained the fuel, but that certainly looks good. And then I can see on the screen here, there's just a little something on the screen there. No, but not any real trash or anything, which is like really good news. So I think there's a little bit of grease in there, and that's just from around the. Actually, that might be some grease right around the edge there, that from just pushing this in there. I'll re-grease that O-ring when I put it back together. But all in all, it's nice to see that my system is running really clean, and anything that might have been. I mean, I tried to make sure my tanks were completely clean when I put them in, and of course my hoses were clean, and I just worked hard at that. Maybe my in my tanks, these here, there might be maybe a scratch of epoxy or something like that came off of that. Could have found its way into the system, and I did see some flakes like that early on that it looked like that might have been the case. Maybe I scratched those putting them in, and it just left a touch of debris. But the good news is it's all making it to where it should be, and it's getting drained out of the system at pre-flight. So that's really good news. And I'll get this screen out and clean it, and then we can get this back together, get it back in the plane. All right. So I just got the oil. Let's see, I've got the plane up level now, and I just got the oil drained, and I need to use my funnel, and I didn't, and I sort of regretted it, but I can take care of that. That's not a problem. The reason it wasn't time to drain the oil, I had some more time to put on the engine before I needed to, because I had changed it not that long ago. But this bracket right here, I don't know if you can see that down there. This bracket is mounted to the back of the engine, and it holds the carburetor in place. It has like a suspension mount on it, and maybe you can get a better view under here. You can kind of see it like right there. Anyway, that bracket has had a small oil leak kind of from this left-hand side over here. There's just two Allen bolts that are holding that thing on, and so now I want to get that bracket off, get the surface all cleaned up, and then I want to reseal that and reinstall it. So, and hopefully that takes care of that little oil leak that I have. It wasn't a big deal really. I just had to put a paper towel or something on top of the throttle linkage after flight. Otherwise, when I came back the next time, since my hangar floor is slanted slightly to this side, to the left side of the plane, I would find a little oil pooled up down here on my engine mount, and prefer not to have a bunch of oil sitting in here. I kind of like to keep this nice and clean. That way it's, visibly I can see if there are any cracks developing or anything like that, and it's not wet and oily. Yeah, I guess in general I try and make sure nothing is wet and oily. So maybe everybody does. I hope everyone does anyway. But some people tolerate oil leaks a little bit, and I don't want to. So I'm going to get first I'll get that nut that I've got the torque seal on off of there, and then I can get the bracket taken loose and get it off, because now I've got the oil drained. So I should be in good shape to do that. And then I'll see what it's going to take to get that cleaned up and sealed off. And then I think in the next video we'll kind of pick up from there. You can see everything I got that I worked through today. I'll bring the fuel line out. We'll get the Gasolator back together. I would have done that today, but I didn't have the right O-ring grease for that, so I need to take that O-ring off, clean that all up, and then put some new grease in there, get that all squared away, so I can get that put back together. And then once I get that, the fuel system is not that difficult. I go in through this access hole right there, and I can get to most of the fuel lines really easily. It's just the ones that are, it's this connection right in front of the Gasolator that's a little bit tougher to get to, but I can get my little self down in there and figure that out. So yeah, it was nice to find out those clamps that I use, that particular style. They actually that style right there, I love them because they clamp in a circular, like in a circle. You just get a little screwdriver in behind them and twist them, and they basically pop right loose. So getting them off, I was kind of wondering what that was going to be like, reaching down inside the cockpit forward of me and getting that off, but it really wasn't that big a deal. So okay, well, hope you enjoyed the video. It's great to be back making some videos, getting the plane inspection done so we can get back in the air, get some more air video, and get back to the test flight program. So all right, well, I'll catch you later.